Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Laura Huffman. I am the president and CEO of the Greater Austin Chamber of Commerce. And while we're normally used to doing this big event in person, it is really exciting to see so many of you that have joined us today virtually. And we have a terrific program. We are focused entirely today on all of the ways that we can nurture and upskill our local talent. That is key to our economic success. We hear all the time from businesses in Austin and businesses that are looking to Austin about winning the talent race. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Our job here at the Chamber is to help people live, work, and thrive in Austin. And part of this important work is to create new and innovative opportunities for our region's workforce. In supporting policies that create a strong economy and a business climate, we focus on ensuring that Austin remains a place where you and your family want to be. Our staff and volunteers work ceaselessly to recruit community-minded businesses to our region, folks like Tesla, Apple, Amazon, and Samsung. But to do this, we have to continue to grow our strong regional economy. We've just got to develop our local talented workforce. That's what attracts employers to Austin. That's what helps your companies grow. We do this in a lot of different ways, some that you notice and some that you may not notice. Our team works with our K-12 and post-secondary partners to connect students with businesses that offer learning opportunities through internships, site tours, and job shadowing. We train volunteers to help high school seniors complete financial aid paperwork so that they have one less barrier in obtaining a college degree. And we work with our community partners, you, to support programs that help adults get the certifications and training they need to fill jobs requiring specialized skills. COVID has provided us an even stronger incentive to do this as we've watched those jobs that we've lost and probably are not coming back. That leaves us with a workforce that needs to be educated and certified for the bigger jobs that are coming our way. So you're going to hear from great speakers today. They're going to tell you about how we can work together to reduce opportunity gaps and to deepen our regional talent pool. That's what this is all about today. Before we get to that, I want to thank some of the businesses that have supported us throughout the year. Our 2020 pivotal partners are Amazon, Ascension Seton, PIMCO, and Wells Fargo. Thank you for staying with us in this most unusual year. I also want to recognize our 2020 foundation partners. Look at all those good supporters of the Chamber. And our 2020 corporate partners. Again, thank you to each and every one of you for recognizing that this online content is more important than ever. Even though we cannot meet in person, we're all looking to connect and learn, and this has proven to be a great way for us to do that. I also want to recognize the companies and organizations that specifically help make today's event possible. Thank you again to our presenting sponsor, Microsoft. I want to recognize our speaker sponsors, Texas Disposal Systems and Texas Mutual Insurance. Thank you to our award sponsor, Wells Fargo. Our corporate sponsors, Amazon, Ascension Seton, Samsung, and Whataburger. Thank you also to our supporting sponsors, TEL and Baylor Scott and White Health. Thank you to all of our partners in education for being with us today. You being here shows just how much you believe in and how important you consider working together to have a better education system is for our community and for our region. These are the companies that help us provide meaningful programming for you, and we thank them for their generous support. And now I want to give you a quick video from our presenting sponsor, Microsoft, on their Global Skills Initiative to provide economic opportunity to close the equity gaps and to prepare Texas's workforce for the 21st century. Take a peek.
Hi, this is Tony Towns-Whitley, and I'm president of U.S. Regulated Industries at Microsoft. As a company, we're committed to economic development and digital skilling for workforce development in Texas. I'm so excited that we're broadening our commitment to Texas through a new statewide digital alliance that we hope will create new economic opportunity, close equity gaps, and prepare the state's workforce for the 21st century. The alliance, which is part of Microsoft's Global Skills Initiative, will give students in Texas access to a variety of new digital skills and workplace development programs. It will also make professional development widely available for educators and offer programs for parents to enhance their own technical skills. We're thankful for Governor Greg Abbott's continued support in our efforts to bring digital skilling to all Texans. We're also grateful for Commissioner Mike Morath and the Texas Education Agency's collaboration on these important programs. And finally, we're grateful for our partners who are helping bring these programs to life for students and community members across Texas. Schools in the Dallas Independent School District, the Houston Independent School District, and across the state are creating fun, hands-on curriculum that gets students excited about STEM and prepares them for a future in STEM-related fields. We look forward to continuing to work with our partners across Texas to ensure that every Texan has access to the skills that will set them up for success in the digital economy. We thank you so much.
Hello there. I'm Joel Lathrop with Microsoft out of Austin, Texas, representing our Texas education team. I think there are going to be slides that you're going to be seeing here, and there's the first. And first thing I want to do is thank all of the educators and students in Region 13 for everything that they have done during this pandemic and all of the changes that continuously happen. So thank you very much. Next. Microsoft, as Tony was talking about what we're doing here in Texas, we're so excited about it. But also throughout the world, Microsoft, we launched an initiative with a goal of helping 25 million people worldwide acquire digital skills needed in the COVID-19 economy. If you have not seen this, I included the URL down below there to learn more. Please visit that, and it will supply you with all of the details. Next, please. So in Texas, we are so excited, as Tony mentioned, to Accelerate Texas, a statewide program to propel Texas communities forward with digital upskilling and K-12 education and through new city-centered programs with Microsoft. I'm going to go through a few slides that just outline quickly what is included in that. First and foremost, I think most exciting we hear as far as being excited about is the Imagine Academy. Those of you who are familiar with it, it's something that we have offered throughout the world for many years. Shortly after the first of the year here, it is going to be available to all schools throughout Texas for free. This is our commitment to skilling, and we think that with Imagine Academy for high school students statewide, with targeted curriculum that will help them earn certifications in some of the most popular areas within technology. Also Imagine Cup Junior, and I won't be able to go through all of the details on all of this, but certainly my email will be when we're finished here, and I'm happy to send any of this to any individuals that are on here. Next, please. Wanted to just show, as far as the outlook with LinkedIn, and those of you that didn't know, we do own LinkedIn, and our skilling is all included on there. And you'll notice here the top 10 hard skills right now in regards to technology would be blockchain, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, scientific computing, and then I included the soft skills on the side there as well. Next. With Imagine Academy, it provides computer science curriculum, coding skills based on latest tools and techniques, IT infrastructure, cloud skills, and IT administration and cloud platform solutions, data science, introduction to data science concepts and tools, and productivity to master the productivity applications broadly used in business. I've worked with several states over the years with a statewide Imagine Academy program, and it is just unbelievable, the success that we see with students, and it's just amazing. Next, please. Along with it is future-ready artificial intelligence. And that will be part of Accelerate Texas as well, along with YouthSpark and DigiCamps. Next, please. Also included is Leadership Educator Accelerate program, what we call LEAP, a 12-week fellowship program that will help emerging leaders and educators build technical and business skills, and TEALS. And those of you who are using TEALS, it will be an expansion to it throughout the state of Texas. So we're very excited about that, and it aligns very well with Imagine Academy for schools that will be using that as well. Next, please. And LinkedIn digital skill training. And if you have not been out to LinkedIn to see this, please do so. And also the first slide that I showed you with our worldwide initiative, it'll show you all of the resources in LinkedIn that are included in this. Next, please. And I want to thank all of the districts throughout the state, from the very largest district in the state of Texas to many small and medium-sized districts. This pandemic has been so challenging for virtual education. And you'll see here, we now have over 115 million daily active users using Teams, over 200 million daily meeting participants, and generating more than 4 billion meeting minutes daily. It is truly amazing. I wanted to let those of you know that have not tried Teams that it is free to all academic institutions. If you go online under Office 365 A1 free, Teams is included in that. So if it's something that you're looking for to try or to save money, we are updating the features in Teams weekly. Our product team has been amazing for us with this, and it's just so exciting to see all of it. Next, please. And I just wanted to thank all of you from the Microsoft Education team. Our goal, empowering Texas students of today to create the world of tomorrow. If you have any questions or would like to reach out for any resources, please, my email is there, and I'm happy to help you. So thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you today, and have a great event.
Thank you, Joel, and thank you for all that Microsoft is doing to keep both our companies and our educational institutions connected. At the beginning of 2020, I'm Cynthia Rhodes Patterson, and it's my pleasure to be the chair of talent for the Austin Chamber. At the beginning of 2020, no one could have anticipated how COVID-19 would affect the national, state, and local economies. Nationally, more than 20 million jobs were lost. You guys have seen the headlines. Looking back to February of this year, the Austin MSA had over 62,000 available job postings and an unemployment rate of 2.6%. By April, our unemployment rate had more than quadrupled, and 138,000 were unemployed locally. The leisure and hospitality sector was among the hardest hit, with 67,300 Central Texans losing jobs in this sector. That's just under half of all area jobs in the industry. The Austin Chamber was at the forefront of the local COVID-19 response, posting available jobs and providing resources to businesses and individuals. We connected local educational institutions to unemployed adults looking to upskill. We also provided workforce boards and other community resources to those who had suddenly lost their jobs. In collaboration with the Texas Workforce Commission, the Chamber hosted webinars on unemployment benefits, furloughs, CARES Act, funding, Paycheck Protection Program, and other important issues. We also featured webinars that addressed issues such as finding employment, childcare, training, and training opportunities. At the request of Mayor Adler and former County Judge Eckhart, the Chamber created the Opening Central Texas for Business Task Force to present a knowledgeable perspective on when and how businesses might adapt and function in the COVID-19 world. The task force was comprised of nearly 200 community and business leaders representing small and large businesses, multiple industry sectors, business membership organizations, and community groups that support business needs like transportation, public health, and safety. The goal of this task force was to honor public health priorities and focus on how to thoughtfully and safely reopen our regional economy. Throughout it all, the strength and quality of our regional workforce and business community cannot be downplayed. The task force, in partnership with the University of Houston Hobby School of Public Affairs, conducted a pandemic childcare survey to help serve as guiding document for funding by city and county officials. We helped push the state's efforts on the Frontline Childcare website to ensure that existing childcare centers, childcare workers, and employees of essential industries who need childcare have the necessary support for the COVID-19 crisis. In addition, we advocated on behalf of childcare providers to the Texas Workforce Commission and further suggested that the commission work in partnership with TEA to provide necessary resources for effective school-age learning in such childcare settings. Together with our partners, the Chamber has helped Austin weather the COVID-19 crisis and get our community on sounder footing. Despite initial job losses in the hospitality sector, half of the 67,300 jobs lost in the industry during March and April have been regained in the last 3 months. Job postings for drivers and delivery also doubled during this time. Additionally, the Chamber's work through our Economic Development Initiative, Opportunity Austin, helped bring thousands of jobs to the region during this turbulent year. Tesla and BAE Systems, among others, chose to relocate or expand in our region due to the talent and infrastructure that we have in place. Overall, amid the pandemic, Austin's year-over-year decline in jobs of 2.5% makes it the best performing among the 50 largest metro areas in the nation. The Chamber is proud to continue its work of helping people live, work, and thrive in Austin. It is now my pleasure to introduce Nestor Ho, Vice Chair of the Chamber's Education Council and Chief Legal Officer of Silicon Labs, who will share the 2020 education update with you. Nestor?
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Joel, for your leadership. As Cynthia shared, I am honored to lead the Austin Chamber's Education Council. As we all know, 2020 tested us and continues to test us. It tested our schools, our teachers, parents, students. It challenged our ability to educate and train our next generation of leaders and workers. It forced us to respond and adapt. Through the COVID-19 crisis, the Chamber proactively engaged businesses, school leaders, state and local government leaders to help shape our local response to the pandemic. Faced with the challenges of remote education and access, we hosted discussions on eliminating the digital divide. We met regularly with school superintendents over the summer to learn about the challenges that we're facing and to support reopening plans. Throughout it all, we worked to connect our businesses with our educators, so together we could find solutions that move us forward. I want to take this moment to thank our DTC 70 school superintendents, Dr. Cruz and Dr. Elizalde at ASD, Dr. Estrada Thomas at Hutto, Dr. Flores at Round Rock, Dr. Gehring and Leander, and Dr. Killian in Pflugerville. I also want to thank Dr. Rhodes at ACC and our local college and university leaders. Together, they educate more than 250,000 area students. Throughout the pandemic, these leaders worked tirelessly to keep students safe and to support continued learning. Faced with connectivity challenges, they provided Wi-Fi buses, they provided hotspots, they provided equipment to keep students engaged and learning. When the campus is closed, they still found ways to deliver meals to students. They unified our community and supported our students and teachers. We're grateful for their leadership and service. As Cynthia shared, even in the middle of a pandemic, the Chamber has played a pivotal role in helping bring new jobs to Central Texas. New jobs mean new opportunities for those with skills, education, or training to compete for them. As of October, we have 57,000 job openings in Central Texas. However, the majority of these jobs require degrees, certifications, or skills training that many of our unemployed do not possess. The Austin Chamber, through Opportunity Austin, has actively worked with area school districts and universities to improve post-secondary readiness and grow our next generation of talent for over a decade. Opportunity Austin supports our flagship education initiatives, Direct to College 70, Direct to Work 30, to ensure that 70% of our graduates pursue higher education and connect the 30% elected not to enroll in post-secondary to career training, internships, apprenticeships, jobs, and military options. I'm glad to report that our efforts are moving the needle and broadening opportunity for all. In 2019, Chamber DTC 70 partners were among the few districts to show growth in direct to college enrollment, up to 64%, despite national decline and downward trend in state enrollment to 49%. For 2020, despite COVID, DTC 70 students' outcomes are strong. FAFSA rates for the class of 2020 grads stands right now at 71%, placing ISD partners top of state in FAFSA completion and bringing over $120 million in aid to help families afford post-secondary enrollment. Applied Texas rates for the class of 2020 stand at 65%, despite test cancellations and campus closures. We strengthened our Summer Melt College Career Transition Program in collaboration with One Logos, the UT Ray Marshall Center, and school districts to link COVID-19 impact survey data on careers, major certifications, or military interest to allow counselors to provide transition support to nearly 10,000 graduates. Our Chamber Talent Ambassador Program and collaboration with Workforce Solutions to engage businesses on career guidance served an additional 4,268 middle school students in Austin and Pflugerville. We're encouraged by these outcomes, and we're also still working to support our class of 2021. Heading into the 2021 legislative session, the Chamber has made HB 3 funding to support our schools and improve our college career and military readiness a top priority. We also recognize that broadband and wireless access is essential, so we have also included policy priorities to support connectivity and help close the digital divide. Given COVID's impact on our economy, the Chamber also has engaged hundreds of business and community volunteers to organize over 50 virtual FAFSA events to help students and parents fund college. Our Talent Ambassador Program will continue to connect schools with businesses interested in providing internships, apprenticeships, and other learning opportunities. Our Summer College Career Transition Program will provide expanded access to support Gear Up programming in high-poverty AISD schools to ensure that our neediest students have the strongest career and college advice and support possible. Working with Roy Spence at GISDM, ACC, the E3 Alliance, and Workforce Solutions, we're continuing to refine the Make It movement to connect students to career, college, and work opportunities in Austin. Though 2020 has been a challenging year, our Opportunity Austin investors, business leaders, school superintendents and leaders, and chamber staff have laid a foundation to make sure our students are well supported in their career and post-secondary journey. We're excited for what's to come and to recognize the tremendous work of our school leaders. Now, please, let me welcome my fellow board member, Austin Gibbs Chairs, and Vice President of Marketing and Community Affairs at Texas Mutual Insurance, Jeremy Bentley, to introduce our next speaker.
Thank you, Nestor, for that update. I kind of miss doing that with you in person, but hopefully we'll get to do that again before too long. As Nestor said, I'm Jeremiah Bentley. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Community Affairs at Texas Mutual Insurance Company, and it's my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker. Dr. Harrison Keller is the Commissioner of Higher Education for the state of Texas, and he's the CEO for the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. He's a recognized innovator in policy programs to improve college readiness and student success, especially for low-income and first-generation students. We're pleased to have him with us today to talk more on the new higher education plan, 60 by 30 TX, which focuses on the common goal of striving for 60% of the 25 to 30-year-old population in Texas to hold a certificate or degree by 2030. And with that, here's Harrison Keller.
Thank you, and good afternoon. I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you all. So one of my main priorities as commissioner is for our agency to have stronger partnerships with institutions, chambers, economic development organizations, employers, and other stakeholders. Last month was actually my first anniversary as commissioner, although it seems a lot longer than that right now, because what a year this has been. We've encountered multiple black swans, including the ongoing fight against COVID-19 and a crisis in our global energy markets. So the pandemic's not yet behind us, and much remains uncertain about the rest of the school year and so many other aspects of our lives. Yet even as we take necessary measures to limit the spread of the virus, we need to look to the future and chart a course towards recovery. And that recovery is going to start with higher education. The pandemic has accelerated changes in our economy that were already underway, and that means that Texans who participate in the recovery are going to need new skills and high-value credentials. Right now, the unemployment rates for workers who don't have post-secondary credentials are more than twice the rates for workers with bachelor's degrees. So Governor Abbott and the legislative leadership, they recognize the essential role that higher education is going to need to play in driving economic recovery, and that was demonstrated this summer by their allocation of $175 million in federal CARES Act stimulus funds for strategic investments in higher education initiatives. The majority of these funds, approximately $150 million, were allocated for student financial aid, including $57 million to protect our state financial aid programs from coronavirus-related budget cuts, $46.5 million allocated for emergency financial aid for students who are suddenly at risk of foregoing higher education because their family's financial situation suddenly changed, and then another $46.5 million that was dedicated to support displaced workers who need to reskill or upskill to get back into the workforce, and Texans who've stopped out or dropped out of college. The remaining funds were allocated for strengthening digital learning and for modernizing our state's educational and workforce data infrastructure. Now, the request for applications for institutions to be able to access and receive these funds to support reskilling and upskilling and to develop and implement new digital open educational resources, those RFAs are open right now. Our work towards recovery is also going to require strong partnerships across state agencies, across higher ed institutions, and with chambers and economic development organizations and with employers. One way that we're doing this is through the governor's Tri-Agency Workforce Initiative. Now, the coordinating board is leading three major aspects of the Tri-Agency Initiative. First, we're taking the lead on college and career advising. We need to work together to make sure that every current and potential Texas student, from middle school students through high school students, through college students to adult learners, can access high quality advising about the educational and career paths that are available to them. The second area is modernizing our state's educational and workforce data infrastructure, and this is going to be increasingly important so we can provide actionable intelligence about how students are navigating their programs and transitioning into the workforce. Third, we've recently launched a project to review and recommend updates to our 60 by 30 Texas higher education goals to be sure that they align with our state's needs, because it isn't enough to say we want to aim for 60% of our young working population to achieve any kind of post-secondary credential. We want to make sure that we're promoting high-value credentials, especially the kinds of credentials that align with regional and state workforce needs. Another way that we're engaging employers and higher education and institutions is through an initiative called GradTex, which is designed to expand opportunities for the nearly 4 million Texans who have some college credit but no credential. So before the pandemic hit, we just rebooted this initiative, working in partnership with the Greater Houston Partnership and with our Houston area colleges and universities. So GradTex 2.0 will launch publicly in the next few weeks, and this takes a comprehensive regional approach to supporting adult learners in completing high-value credentials. That includes grants to institutions, financial aid, coordinated marketing, data insights, and advising to help re-enroll students in institutions that best fit their academic, career, or personal needs. Now, this work that we've been incubating is highly scalable, and I'd like to put in a plug that we're looking forward to partnering with Austin and with communities across the state to advance this initiative across Texas. So, for example, we've recently expanded the technical analyses we began for grad techs to support the entire state. One product is a labor market information tool that the Brookings Institution developed for us with input from our colleagues at the Texas Workforce Commission. Over the next several months, we'll continue to build out these kinds of tools to share labor market data with institutions, with employers, and with the public. So in closing, I'd just like to say again that I appreciate participating in this timely conversation. Our agency and our higher education institutions look forward to partnering with the Chamber and with employers across Austin and across the state so we can come through this crisis and emerge even stronger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the commitment that you and that the state have made to the workforce and educational system, and then also the ability to quickly shift and transition as we all deal with this pandemic, given the best way we can and build the workforce. I think we all agree that bridging the gap between education and the talent pipeline is a very important task for all of us. Recently, we were fortunate enough to capture an interview between Jason Kelly of IBM and Robert Smith of Vista Equity Partners, discussing the ways the business community can and should invest in improved student outcomes. This was specifically around increasing access to STEM educational opportunities for underserved populations and steps to close the digital divide. Jason Kelly leads the IBM Global Blockchain Services, partnering with client organizations and consortia to unleash the exponential business value of blockchain technologies and reinvent business processes. Jason is a holder of 4 U.S. patents, a U.S. Army Airborne Ranger veteran, serves on a number of boards, including the Austin Chamber Board, is co-chair of the Nation Security Innovation Council, and leads the community of Black employees and mentors, which is known as BEAM, globally for the IBM Services Organization. Robert Smith is a legendary investor and visionary philanthropist named by Forbes in 2017 as one of the 100 greatest living business minds. He's the founder, chairman, and CEO of Vista Equity Partners, the investment firm he started back in 2000 with a sole focus on investing in software companies. He has since built Vista into one of the top performing private equity firms globally, with over $57 billion in cumulative capital commitments, overseeing more than 60 portfolio companies that employ more than 70,000 people worldwide. Taken together, Vista is the 5th largest enterprise software company in the world. Robert is also the first African American to sign the Giving Pledge, and he was recently awarded the Carnegie Medal of Philanthropy. Last year, Robert received global media coverage for his announcement that he would pay off student debt, including parents' debt, for the entire 2019 graduating class in Morehouse College. Please join me in welcoming Jason Kelly and Robert Smith.
Hello, team. Hopefully you can hear me and you can hear me live. We had a little sound challenge right now. And hopefully when we finish up here, we'll be able to, of course, listen to a wonderful conversation I was fortunate enough to have with Robert Smith just a couple days ago, as we talk through some of these opportunities that we have in meeting the needs of our current talent, to get that talent into the workforce quicker, better, faster. And we call out, and all of us have called out, and I've heard now just in our sessions here this morning, the need and the have is sometimes misaligned with regards to our talent and getting them into those opportunities. Some 700,000 STEM-related jobs every year go unfulfilled because we can't manage to get those skills into those positions. At IBM, we had an opportunity in partnership with many of our local providers from local school systems as well as community college to create something about 10 years ago called Pathways to Technology Early College High School, PTEC for short. And PTEC was our way of putting sweat equity into finding a way to get students from school into jobs quicker, better, faster, as I mentioned. Because as we saw here and we're seeing currently in the pandemic, if the challenge is right now, it's very difficult to say, well, let's just put this on hold. I'll go get a 4-year degree and then I'll step into that job. How do we quickly get those skills straight from school, early learning, straight into the jobs that they need to? A challenge we faced, and we said, listen, let's come up with a new program. And what we did was create a program by partnering with the colleges as well as high schools to put together what is now a 6-year program. Think of a 9 through 14 year program. So grade 9 through grade 14, where as a part of high school, you get a 2-year degree. And it's easy to say, well, so what? That just means you go two extra years. Well, in fact, what happens that's different than any type of extra education or apprenticeship type program, what we do is add a mentorship program in it, very structured, with a curriculum for STEM education, where those mentors and that curriculum starts with those early students learning those skills that they will need to go into jobs right after the program. What have we found? Well, with 150,000 participants now after 10 years of doing this in 23 plus countries, and more than 200 plus graduates in that short period of time, we know that those that start the program, 70% of them are now going to higher education. The majority of them get that extra 2-year degree during 4 years. So outcomes matter. And what we find is that instead of talking about white collar jobs and blue collar jobs, we have had the fortunate effect of fulfilling these new collar jobs that do not require 4 years of education. They require a great capability and great skill. And the sooner we can get our talented people who are often left in different trades and in different areas because of a less advantaged opportunity to go to a 4-year school, they're now being overachievers. And we're being able to realize that talent that just needed a little extra help and structure and mentorship. So we're proud to do that. And here in Austin, we're very proud to partner with Navarro High School, and one that I've had a chance to work with personally. And there's nothing like the reward of seeing our top talent find the opportunity and take advantage of what's put there in front of them. So with that, I'm going to go back to Jeremiah, if I can, and see if we can get this one more time to see if we can get the conversation between Robert Smith and myself working. Jeremiah, do we know if that's solved yet?
Well, it worked in testing, so let's just assume that it's gonna, right? We gotta iterate, we gotta test, we gotta do all the things you guys do over there at IBM. So let's. I was
going to say, I'm sure that some technology partner here is going to get the blame for this. So let's make it work.
All right, let's do it.
Well, all right. Thanks, Jeremiah, and very excited to kick off a conversation today. As mentioned, I'm Jason Kelly, and I run the IBM blockchain business globally, and I'm a proud member of the exec committee of the Austin Chamber. And today, I'm honored to be with my good friend Robert Smith from Vista, and I'm very excited to have a conversation about what we're seeing collectively in Central Texas and in Austin around skills and education and investment. So Robert, hey, great to have you. Glad you're well and good to be here talking with you today.
Well, good to see you and glad you're well as well. And, excited to talk about all the opportunities we have as Texans to move forward in this world of software and technology.
Great. Well, I'll tell you, start right in on that because, you having achieved all that you have through investment in skills and people. At the Chamber, we have done a lot of work with our Opportunity Austin and also the Direct to College 70 effort. And all of that's been to improve all strategies around college, career, military readiness, and also what we do with the schools directly to get our underrepresented and challenge students into schools, into getting those credentials that they need. Now, that's an ongoing challenge. It's not new. And as we try and do that, what do you see as high value targets of investment in Austin? And how should businesses approach those investments so that we can improve the outcomes that we're getting out of that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jason, that we should probably spend weeks really delving into. At its highest level, what people have to really start to embrace is an understanding of how the world has turned digital. We've been talking about this fourth industrial revolution for a number of years. And I think that many folks don't embrace all of the implications of it. What has happened is there's been a complete distribution of computing power globally. The connectivity of that computing power has enabled 7.5 billion people to be reached on this planet. But the short answer is, only 29 million or so of us actually know how to write code. And what we have to think about as Texans, as Austinites, is how do we enable our community to be fully activated? And what I mean by that is fully activated in the ability to participate in this digital economy, which means we have to have digital literacy, not just as a user and an interfacer, but as a creator of digital constructs. And that starts, of course, folks my age are truly digital immigrants, whereas folks a little younger are what I call the digital natives. And it's those digital natives in the K through 12 that we need to train and enable and provide on-ramps for them to participate in multiple levels in the digital economy. In some cases, it would be as a business user of software, a teacher, and delivering capacity to students to learn how to program, how to code, how to utilize technology to bring more efficiency in the work that they do. And in some cases, at the higher end, what you do, understanding, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and what I call the next generation of accelerants in the world of software that are going to propel all economies globally forward. We have to understand and think about ourselves as a community of Austinites, and frankly, a community of Americans. And so when you say, what's your highest value add investments? It's people. It's simple. It's people. All the people that we can touch, we should enable to become more effective, productive members of the community that can now deliver capacity to drive our economy forward. Here's a country, call it 350, 360 million people, depending on who you talk to. And there are other countries out there with 3 and in some cases 4 times our population. And as they become more digitized and enabled, they will have that much more opportunity to enable their economies. So we have to continue to lead, which means education, training, mentorship, all the things that have led, folks like you and I to be able to participate in the economy at the levels we do today. We have to create more on-ramps for all citizens and all citizenry in the U.S. To participate.
So, Robert, you hit on something there, the digital natives. And I started thinking, as you say, old, I get to shave my head, so no one gets to see my gray. So I can claim, I get to claim, I'm 30 yet again every birthday with many, many years of experience. Now, you hit on something there when you talk about, you and I came from what was an underserved community and very much underrepresented in the fields that are technical. And as we know here in Austin, we have some 58,000 jobs that are in the STEM related fields. And when we look at our underserved, underrepresented populations, what can we do to increase their representation in filling these types of jobs? They're digital natives. Some say, well, maybe they're just not as interested in STEM occupations. And I would say that's not true. It's how do you expose them? So, and you thought, what could we do to better engage our Austin area students to get them moving forward and filling some of these gaps?
Sure, there are multiple ways to do it. One simple way, of course, is internships. I've been promoting, touting, and engaged. We built a platform called InternX that basically we now have over 12,000 African-American students within the U.S. who are on the platform. I think we have 180 or so corporate partners. But part of it is just exposure through internships. I started my career in exposure when I was in high school, 17, working with an internship at Bell Laboratories, which changed my life. And so I would encourage every single business in Austin to expand their internship program. In this age of COVID, we've got some systems and tools where you can actually do it from a remote position, but you've got to create the exposure as kind of the first dynamic. The second thing is to provide ways for students to gain access to training and skills training. We've built some learning management systems, for instance, on our platform that can do that. But I think you have to think about the coding academies as being ways to approach it. One of the things we've done in Texas is with one of our groups called Empower, which actually creates certification programs for high school graduates or returning veterans, where you can become a certified technician on various platforms. And in some cases, entry level 9 months. In other cases, it might take a year or two. But it changes the whole dimension from people who are making $14, $15 an hour to making $60,000 a year. Going through these training and coding programs. You've got to dedicate yourself to it, of course, but that will enable you to participate. And of course, at the K through 12 level, we've got to drive coding as more of a requirement as opposed to an option for students. They need to learn. You may not end up being a programmer at IBM or one of the Vista companies, but you should understand the structure of programming, the impact it has, and how we can use that to drive forward all of the, I'll call it the productivity activities across all areas of the economy. And again, internships, I think training and certification programs, and of course, entry-level, I'll call it education systems, so people get greater familiarity with the power of what programming can provide in a business construct and frankly in an educational environment.
Well, you mentioned your internship at Bell Labs made me, I've heard the story before of how you were a high school student at that time.
Right.
And you were persistent saying, let me in. The story I've heard is, when the MIT student couldn't show up, the MIT college student, they called you in high school, come take this internship.
Right. I think I tell people it's before the age of answering machines, and I was probably the only one that had a parent at home when they called that answered the phone and took a telephone number so I could call them back. And so, technology in that case, the absence of it actually helped me.
Right.
A lot does have to do with because I agree with your presupposition that most students that I talk to absolutely have an interest in participating in the economy and in the digital economy, and many of them just don't know where or how to access it. So we need to create more available points for them to access it, which includes broadband to every home. So that the access there and the training there can actually occur. I mean, those are some of the elements of businesses, and we're focused on that with some of our companies. How do we ensure we can provide more on-ramping and access to the digital opportunities through broadband connection and learning management system so they can gain access to.
And I think you bring out that what I think is a solid point about access, because even we've now all seen that in the current environment in the pandemic, where everyone said, "Oh well, we'll just go remote. We'll just," and that's keeping focused on the education side. There are many pockets of needed access. Just having the machines themselves, and you mentioned you have some companies that are doing just that. Robert, what are your thoughts? What else could some of our other businesses? We think about it, especially at IBM. We were 95% work from home on day 2 with plenty of access, and changed our Indian team to 99%, which all of them didn't have access. That's fine when we're talking our global. What should we be thinking about here in Austin? What are your thoughts? What could we do to increase that?
Yeah, quite simply, the most important thing we can do is provide access and connectivity and devices. And we've been working with Michael Dell and his team on this, working with the Verizon Group and AT&T. We have one of our companies, Power School. We basically cover a large number of school districts in the U.S. And so we went through and did an actual ranking and said, okay, which of the school districts have students who don't have access to broadband? And so we're bringing what I call localized solutions and say, okay, we can provide the learning management system through Power School, and then we go to the connectivity provider and say, look, in this neighborhood, 32% of the people don't actually have broadband, and that affects 54,000 students. And trying, again, to convince the AT&Ts and the Verizons and others to now go provide that access. It might be through cellular or some other capacity, but to the broadband. And then, of course, Michael and his team and the group at Microsoft as well have said, listen, we will look to provide, low-cost access to devices. So again, I'll call it a gang tackle approach with various business leaders. So, to the extent that there are gaps and holes, it's important that those are identified, and then business leaders actually take the lead to try to solve those issues until we can come up with what I'll call more publicly related solutions and building out infrastructure for broadband. The interesting thing about that is once you have actually built out that capacity for education, it actually enables small to medium businesses to have access. And oh, by the way, it enables telemedicine to now be delivered to those same communities. So, that basic infrastructure provides multidimensional impact on the communities that they would serve. So I think those are the things that we ought to think about. And, the large corporations and ways to finance it. Bank of America just issued this Equality Progress Sustainability Bond, which is a way they issued a $2 billion bond, but every large corporation, public corporation, can issue these and use that capacity and use that capital to actually solve some of these very specific problems in these deserts in these communities.
Right. Well, you think about our community. I'm going to transition because you hit on something, Robert, about this knock-on effect. We take care of our education side, and it then affects also our small businesses and then our major players here in Austin. And ultimately, those engines are fueled by skills. And at Vista, you of course run on meritocracy. You look for, based on skills and merit, in your many companies, they look for those skills and people advance on that. What could we do as businesses across Austin and Central Texas to really focus on our skills base? What could we do to grow that so that we can be differentiated? We can attract those talents that want to work at the places where skills are appreciated, as well as build those 60+% that are finding themselves displaced out of other jobs right now in the current environment.
I think the most important thing, like I said, is invest in education, not just K through 12, but in companies, invest in your training systems. I mean, one of the things that we do is build a training infrastructure in each one of the businesses that we make investments in, control investments in. And we leverage our infrastructure, which we call Vista University, to deliver, learning management capacity to those companies to, teach and train on everything from how to be a better programmer to how to understand RPA, how do you understand machine learning. You can actually get a nano degree in our companies in AI and ML. And it takes dedication and focus, but every company needs to think about. And in this age of digital educational platforms, it isn't, once you have built a curriculum that you can go to a one-to-many pretty effectively and on their timetable and time frame. So, leveraging those sort of systems, I think, will improve the skills. It adds another value and element as to why somebody wants to work at that company, because it's an ongoing skill development. We also have training programs for, entry level and kind of the next level, and programs up to the CEO, where they get an opportunity to work together and learn from each other. And we are doing those things remotely. We just finished one of our latest Pinnacle classes, which is just a level of below the C-suite or the CEO, and we did it all digitally. And we had people from all over the world who were in that C-suite participate in this program, and I had a chance to interact with them a couple of times. But leveraging systems like this, where you have a chance now to do shared learning and experiences, even though we can't get together in person, is truly one of the outgrowths of what this digital environment, and it can be as effective as being in person. So every company should be thinking about, how do you build in learning and training systems that can be accessed in some cases together, and in some cases separately at home or off work time, to build individual employee skill sets.
Now, I'm telling you, as I talk with you, Robert, I know they're probably looking at us saying, yeah, this conversation, these two can talk forever, which would be great. I'm enjoying the extra. I have just two questions here, as we're just about on time. One is focused on Vista, because I love to talk about it. I love to say, ask me, have you heard of Vista? Do you know Robert Smith? I mean, people smile and I go, that's in Austin, right? And I go, I go, yes. I said, it's a man that could live anywhere in the world. He's in Austin. His firm in Austin. He's there. So why Austin? I mean, what do we have?
Austin has, a couple of wonderful elements associated with it, and then one really bad one, which I'll tell you about. I think the most wonderful thing is what I call the people, the culture, a dynamic that people want to work. In the early days of Vista, we would go out and, spend a bunch of time. We still do it, but, I don't do it as much as I used to, but, going in diligence at a company and actually sit in their offices. And I noticed, you notice work ethic. You notice if the parking lot is empty at 8 o'clock in the morning and empty again at 3:30 in the afternoon, or if people are showing up to work on time or early and leaving at 7, 8, or 9 in the evening. And I'm not arguing that everybody should do that, but what we noticed was in Austin and Texas in particular, there was a really strong work ethic. I think that's probably one of the most important things. You have the University of Texas there. We like university towns. It brings a whole different energy level to entry-level employees. These are young, ambitious people who really want to strike out in the world, and they've just finished their degrees, or are working as interns while they're finishing their college education. And they bring a whole not just the excitement and energy and enthusiasm, but optimism about life in the future that is infectious. And I think that's another important element that we look to embrace in Austin. The business community is a supportive business community. Our businesses are global, but we have found that we've had great support in our local business community of people who want to see us successful, because they know it creates jobs, creates infrastructure, creates tax revenues, creates a whole uplift for the entire community. Obviously, the music is wonderful in Austin. I'm a big, as you know, that fan of all different genres, types, and styles of music. And the only thing I complain about in Austin is the cedar pollen, which I'm just horribly allergic to. So, I suffer the fate of that. When I first got there, it didn't affect me. Now it's just horrible. But it's a wonderful place.
Amazing how it builds up. And I'll close with a question. On your insights here on education are, I think, very evolved and deep in the thought that you've thought it through. Now you're the son of educators, two doctoral educators, and how's that shaped your views? And then what are some last thoughts? For those that are listening, from those that are aspiring to take their education to the next level and really make an impact. What are you, from son of educators, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. One, go deep in the areas that you have you have some interest in education. And if you're, looking to be an engineer, go learn how to be a really good engineer, the best engineer. Find people around you who have that same sort of thought. And I'll call it, when you're in school, beyond going to football games on the weekend, actually spend time talking about how you use your skill and practical application of that skill into some areas of interest. Think about how you can be more holistic in your approach to business and your approach to work and approach to life, and try to think about what I call the elegant solutions of sustainability. We all have to think about how do we create a more sustainable outcome, because we're finding there's an exhaustion of resources across multiple areas in our global economy and in our in Texas in particular. And we need to think about how we become more thoughtful about renewable and sustainable elements in business. And I think one of the most important things there is think about the ecosystem. So you call it diversity and inclusion shouldn't be a line item; it should be a way of life. For all of us, we should think about how do we build a more holistic, sustainable community as opposed to continued separation of opportunity for folks. And I think if we approach it and you approach it as a young person that way, you will find a fulfilling and wonderful life. Look, we're not all perfect. We will make mistakes along the way. And hopefully we forgive each other for those mistakes. But as you move forward, we should all be thinking about the same goals of improving the quality of life for all citizenry on the planet.
Well, thanks, Robert, and thanks for the thoughts and the insights here. It's been an enjoyable conversation between us here as we both fight the pollen, but enjoy the conversation. And for all those as we listen, we'll move to our next part of the program. Again, Jason Kelly, Robert Smith, we've enjoyed speaking to all of you. Take care, Robert.
You too, Jason. Good to see you.
Good seeing you.
All right. We'd like to thank Robert Smith and Jason Kelly for that powerful conversation around education and a little bit about the love of Austin. I could listen, unlike what Jason said, I could listen to the two of them talk forever about those topics. It was very exciting and informative and very relevant to our times now. Next, I would like to welcome to the virtual stage David O'Neill, who's Regional Bank Vice President with Wells Fargo. And David will be announcing the Education Business Champion Awards.
Hi, I'm David O'Neill, Region Bank President for Wells Fargo. At Wells Fargo, our mission is to help customers succeed financially. And one way that we work to achieve our mission is by investing in the education of tomorrow's workforce, so that the members of the communities we serve can achieve career and financial goals. That is why we proudly partner with the Chamber to participate in the financial aid events and help students and their families apply for federal and state financial aid, which is a critical first step toward college enrollment. As the COVID-19 pandemic has shown us, fostering educational opportunities for our youth is critically important work that takes participation from diverse sectors of the community. And that's why I am extremely proud to announce the winners of today's Business Champion for Education Awards. These awards highlight the companies in our region that are providing direct support to their area school districts to help advance educational opportunities that lead to meaningful employment for tomorrow's workforce. These companies were nominated by the school district to recognize their efforts in providing support in a variety of ways, whether it's through direct financial support, professional mentoring, paid internships, or creating curricula that allow students to be college or career ready upon graduation. Each of the businesses or organizations awarded today has partnered with their ISD in meaningful ways that addresses specific needs of their communities and students. Our first award recipient is San Marcos Toyota, recognized by San Marcos ISD for their partnership with the automotive technology class, where they are preparing students to be college and career ready. A big congratulations to San Marcos Toyota. Our next winner is the Austin Board of Realtors. Austin ISD is recognizing Austin Board of Realtors as a founding partner in Aikens High School's Real Estate P-TECH program by helping design school curricula, providing on-site work experiences, and a dedicated professional mentor, and providing qualifying students with a paid internship. Students are developing skills that prepare them for employment upon completion of the program. Thank you to Arbor for all you do to support AISD. Our next Education Business Champion Award goes to St. David's Healthcare. Leander ISD is recognizing St. David's Healthcare for improving the health of the community through their direct financial support, as well as providing healthcare opportunities to students and their families. St. David's Healthcare provides training, education, and resources for students, families, and staff on various healthcare topics. Very recently, they provided access to an online mental wellness curriculum available for all middle and high school students and staff. Thanks again to St. David's for their continued support. Our next award goes to Pfluger Architects. Pflugerville ISD is recognizing Pfluger Architects for ensuring that every project in the district creates learning environments that fully integrate their mission, develop teaching spaces that enhance instruction, and design schools that improve the overall quality of student life while bringing equity to their schools. Congratulations to Pfluger Architects for this well-deserved award. Next, we have Samsung Austin Semiconductor. Manor ISD is recognizing Samsung Austin Semiconductor for their wide-ranging efforts in areas of employee engagement, investments in STEM, workforce development, COVID-19 relief, innovation in the classrooms, mentoring, and outreach programs. Thank you so much to Samsung for going to exceptional lengths to support Manor ISD in these many ways. Our next Education Business Champion is Sports Clips. Georgetown is awarding Sports Clips for providing the support to design the GISD Cosmetology Lab, donating chairs and wash stations, while providing financial support to fund materials and supplies for training. Their financial contribution continues annually. I think the pandemic has definitely made us all appreciate the importance of a good haircut. Next, we have Miller's Meat Market and Smokehouse, who has been recognized by Llano ISD. Miller's Meats employ and empower high school and college students by teaching them soft skills like how to interact with customers and dress appropriately for an interview, and more concrete skills such as handling money, packaging products, and merchandising sales. No matter their path in life, our students are prepared to succeed in the workforce through these experiences. Our next winner is Shop LC. Round Rock ISD is recognizing them for supporting the district on various campuses across several projects. Notably, they brought over 100 students to their facility to show them the practical application of computer science and technology on their in-classroom lessons. Most recently, they donated over 7,000 masks and bottles of hand sanitizer to the district. And our final Business Champion Award is the Seguin Chamber of Commerce. Seguin ISD is recognizing the Seguin Area Chamber of Commerce for its partnership in the Talent Pipeline, which is designed to prepare tomorrow's workforce through career and technical education showcases, career fairs, tours, and guest speaker opportunities. So congratulations and thank you to all of our award winners. Investing in the education of our young people today helps ensure that the region has the talent it needs to support the businesses of tomorrow. Now I'd like to turn it over to Leticia Mendoza with Texas Disposal Systems, who will announce the winners of the 2020 District Awards.
Thanks, David. My name is Leticia Mendoza, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications for Texas Disposal Systems. At Texas Disposal Systems, we're honored to support the Austin and surrounding communities with essential environmental services for the past 42 years. And we believe that the future starts with today's learners, which is why we created the TDS Eco Academy educational program, to make learning about sustainability fun while also enabling real-world application at school and at home. But let's get started with the district awards. If a student doesn't apply for college as a senior in high school, then they are unlikely to enroll at all. Over the years, the Chamber has worked with the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board and area institutions to have an electronic common application, known as the Apply Texas, where counselors can track their student submissions in near real time. It's been really wonderful to see the number of campuses with 100% participation in this area climb year over year. We will announce all the awards in alpha order, beginning with the small campus category. Our first winner is Ann Richards School for Young Women Leaders, followed by Eastside Memorial High School. And finally, Garza High School. All of our small campus winners are in the Austin Independent School District. Congratulations to Superintendent Dr. Elizalde and to the school principals and counselors who made this possible. Our medium campus award winners are Hutto High School and HISD. Congratulations on 100% participation to Superintendent Dr. Estrada Thomas, her principals, and advising team. And Comley, Hendrickson, Pflugerville, and Weiss High Schools, all in Pflugerville ISD with 100% participation. Great job to Dr. Killian, campus leader, and his college career and advising team. Our next award recognizes the highest FAFSA submission rate by enrollment for a campus. Every day, principals and counselors work with graduating seniors and their families to complete the next steps to direct college enrollment. The first step is to complete the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA. These campuses have done the best job in ensuring their graduates submit and complete the FAFSA. Our small campus winner in this category is Ann Richards High School in Austin ISD. Our medium campus winner is Hendrickson High School in Pflugerville ISD. And our large campus winner is Westwood High School in Round Rock ISD. Congratulations to Superintendents Dr. Flores in Round Rock ISD, Dr. Killian in Pflugerville ISD, Dr. Elizalde in Austin ISD, all the principals and counselors who work hard every day to make sure their students have made it over the first and often most challenging hurdle to college enrollment. The next award recognizes the high school campus with the highest attendance for a Financial Aid Saturday FAFSA event. These are helping families connect with funding for higher education. This year's winner is Hutto High School, who had 230 attendees file in a single day. Congrats to Dr. Estrada Thomas's team at Hutto ISD. The high school junior and senior surveys, designed and administered by the UT Austin Ray Marshall Center, are a critical component of the DTC 70 strategy. They identify the students' individual career goals, post-secondary interests, knowledge of the college enrollment process, and they ask whether they would like help in making the transition. These surveys are essential to allowing school leaders to better target college and career guidance for their students. The campuses which have the highest student survey participation rates are: in the small campus category, we are delighted to announce the winner as the Ann Richards High School for Young Women Leaders in Austin ISD. For our medium campus category, we have a tie. Wow. These two schools successfully had 100 student participation in the survey. They are Conley High School in Pflugerville ISD and Success High School in Round Rock ISD. Finally, our large campus winner for student survey participation is Round Rock High School in Round Rock ISD. Congratulations to these campuses and their teams for these amazing results. So we have another tie. Our two 2020 school district winners for highest college readiness rates are tied at 70%. Congratulations to Dr. Steve Flores in Round Rock ISD and Dr. Bruce Gearing in Leander ISD. Well done. Our next award measures the greatest year-over-year improvement in the immediate direct college enrollment rate. In the small campus category, the award goes to Eastside Memorial High in Austin ISD with a 7% gain from last year, moving from 32% to 39%. Congratulations. Our medium campus winner is Hutto High School, who experienced a 5% gain from 49% to 54%. Kudos. And our large campus award winner is Vista Ridge High School in Leander ISD with a 2.74% gain. That's from 73% to 76%. Congratulations to Dr. Elizalde, Dr. Estrada Thomas, and Dr. Gearing and their teams. Our next award recognizes the school district with the greatest improvement in direct college enrollment. In 2020, Austin ISD improved by 3.1 percentage points for a total of 61%. Great job. Our final award today goes to the high school campus with the highest percentage of seniors directly enrolling in college. This year's winner is Ann Richards High School. Congratulations to Dr. Elizalde and Principal Christina Waugh on the outstanding job preparing their students for college and careers upon graduation. We all know our superintendents, principals, and counselors work tirelessly to ensure positive outcomes for all students. We are truly grateful for all you do to prepare today's youth for tomorrow's workforce. It is now my pleasure to introduce Doug Thompson from Microsoft, who will present the Community Leadership Award.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Doug Thompson. I'm a senior technology strategist for Microsoft, and it is my great honor and pleasure to present our Chamber's Community Leadership Award to Dr. Paul Cruz. Dr. Cruz's leadership at Austin ISD spans 14 years of service to students and families in our community, across his 34 years as an educator. For 6 of those years, from 2014 to 2020, Dr. Cruz served as our superintendent and continually focused on improving educational outcomes and opportunities for area students. Under Dr. Cruz's leadership, Austin ISD's graduation rate reached a record high of 92%. Hispanic and African American graduation rates rose from 81% to 91% respectively. College career readiness rose to 67%, a record high, outperforming Texas by 25 percentage points. FAFSA priority filing rates rose from 43% to 56%, and nearly 70% of seniors filed a FAFSA by June. Direct-to-college enrollment increased from 57% in 2013 to 60% in 2019, and moved our DTC 70 regional enrollment rate up to 64%. These gains are so important, as we know 66% of our college-ready students who file a FAFSA and directly enroll in college complete their degrees within 6 years. Dr. Cruz also oversaw passage and implementation of a $1.05 billion bond to modernize Austin schools and improve facilities for Austin students and families. He expanded P-TECH, career launch, and early college programs to allow students to complete degrees or certificates by the time they finished high school. All this means more of our young people connected to the education they needed to compete for good jobs. In August 2020, after retiring from Austin ISD, Paul assumed a position with University of Texas Department of Educational Leadership and Policy, where he runs the Cooperative Superintendency Program to prepare the next generation of our school leaders. We are grateful for his tireless dedication to the students and families across Austin. Our region is better off thanks to his leadership. Dr. Cruz, on behalf of our community and the Austin Chamber of Commerce, we offer our sincere thanks and present you with this token of our appreciation.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate the recognition. I tell you, it's a team. It's the Austin School District has amazing individuals who are smart, are committed to kids, to learning, to equity. And it really is a team in the Austin School District. I do want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for the recognition, but it truly is all the folks within the Austin School District who make great things happen for our students and our families every day. I will share that I never would have thought that a kid, a 17-year-old coming to Austin from Robstown, Texas, coming to study at UT in 1983 to become a teacher, would have had the privilege to serve the Austin School District and the Austin community. And it truly has been a privilege, and very humble to have been able to serve alongside amazing individuals in the Austin School District and the Austin community. I tell you, when all this started, it sort of, I look back through the history on things, and it started with the matriculation task force back in 2006, I think, when just improved graduation rates. And here we then focus, move in that direction, then move to college readiness, create a DTC 70 focus, making sure more kids are ready for college on time, and making sure we're creating better spaces and learning environments for all of our students. And it really is through the dedication of the hard work of educators. I congratulate all the principals, all my colleagues, superintendents, district staff, the teachers, counselors, and of course our students who work so hard every single day to realize better outcomes. I also want to thank the Chamber. I've worked in different districts, and never have I seen a partnership that has felt so welcoming, that is focused so much on truly the Austin community and making things better for our students and for our families. And for that, I thank the Austin Chamber for working on DTC 70 and making sure we're focused on all students, making sure that all students realize better and better outcomes, and that we're making it a better Austin. Thank you so much for the recognition, and it's truly my honor to have served alongside amazing individuals in our Austin community. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Dr. Cruz. And thanks again to everyone for joining us virtually today and for sticking with us until the end. We tried to keep things fast-paced as possible, but as you saw, there's a lot going on in these spaces. So we appreciate your patience. Thanks also to our speakers, Robert Smith, Commissioner Kelly, Jason Kelly, Joel, and of course, our Education Council Chair, Nestor Ho. Congratulations again to our Business Award winners for all they do in our school and our community. Nestor, anything to add?
Thanks, Cynthia, and thanks to you for your leadership of the Chamber's Talent and Workforce Committee. I want to add a special thank you to all of our educators, the superintendents, their teams, the teachers, for all that you do for the students and families. We are always grateful to you, but we recognize that this year has been a little bit harder than usual. Thank you for your leadership and service to our community. To the Chamber staff, thank you for putting this wonderful event together and for the hard work you put in every day supporting Austin businesses. To everyone who joined us today, thank you for attending. We hope to see you in person next year and hopefully break bread together with you all. Stay safe and thank you.
And just before we end, I'd also like to add that if you received an award today, it will be sent out to you.